Hello, hello, YouTube people. How is everyone? It's Astro Coach Sarah here for your Gemini new moon and some other astrology updates, tarot, oracle, all of the things. Um, I want to start this off with a story. So I, in the last year, have lost about 16 pounds and I've also like changed my body composition. My meal prep is pretty on point. I'm not 100% strict to any kind of nutrition plan, but I do eat mostly like protein, rice, veggies. But do I eat chips, cookies, ice cream, all of yes, I do. I just don't overindulge. I kind of keep those at a minimum. But anyway, the point is I've lost 16 pounds and therefore I'm having to update my wardrobe. That sounds really easy. I can now wear smaller sizes, but it sucks because if you've met me in person, I have 4 pairs of pants that have like galactic cosmic patterns. There were 4 different patterns, and I can't find the pants to even buy a smaller size of them. And so I'm actually kind of sad because I can't really wear them in public. I still wear them around my house, but they don't look good enough to be wearing in public anymore. Because they just don't fit right. They don't wear very well. But I refuse to part with them. So I have bought some new clothes. This is one of my new tops, actually. I had to replace some of my t-shirts. So working through all of that, and I posted a picture of one of my new outfits, which was like a pair of green pants and then like a yellow t-shirt with lemons and with their leaves and everything. So it's like really cute outfit. And apparently some people said, well, at least you didn't get like the pattern pants or the funky pants. Does anybody remember Dr. Seuss? And I'm going to butcher the quote, but it's something to the effect of um how does it go? Those who matter care, and those who like those who like don't care don't matter, something like that, right? The people who knew me with those pants, who appreciated those pants, are the ones who matter. They liked me. And there were people who did not like those pants. And those are the people to me who don't matter because I love, and if you knew me, you knew I loved those pants, right? I loved wearing those pants. And so for people who didn't like those pants, those are the people who I tell you this story to tell you that we are about to enter a time and space when you're who you are, how you choose to be, is going to be important to the people who care about you. And those are the people who matter. And I'm not saying that everybody who doesn't like your style doesn't matter, but I am saying that people who will appreciate you, whatever your style, whatever your hobbies, whatever your interests, whatever your, whatever value that you have and that you bring to the table, those are the people who will, the people who matter will appreciate you for those, right? I'm sure there's people out there who thought I was very courageous to wear those pants. I loved those pants, but they are phasing out of my wardrobe. And part of that is like, yeah, I can't find them anymore to even buy a smaller size, number one. And number two, because I'm stepping into a new role as, presenter, facilitator, author, published author, all of those things, this old identity of me is like graduating to a new level. I have it though that I will find something just as funky to wear that, matches the new version of me that I want to be, because honestly I don't really want those pants to be like my stage presence in a speaker position. And so they looked a little leisure and whatnot and casual, even though I wore them to like everything. um but alas, they are no more. But anyway, my point is like where we're going and the next few weeks worth of transits is the beginning of the next level up. And it's going to really ask you and invite you to shift something within yourself. to accept who you are as you are. And I know I talk about authenticity a lot, but when I tell you that, we have Venus entering Leo, we will soon have Jupiter entering Leo, and we will soon have the South Node moving into Leo. And that's a lot of astrology speak for get to know where Leo is in your chart, and get to know yourself, accept yourself. Leo is the sun, it's your heart. And even if you are somebody who self-sabotages subconsciously, in other words, you in your head or somewhere hidden in the depths of your brain, you constantly think glass half empty, you constantly think that you don't deserve, those are things that Venus and the South Node are going to clear the fuck out of your headspace. And I, for one, am definitely somebody who self-sabotages. I have a very subconscious self-sabotage nature. And so a few things that I have been practicing when I go to bed at night, because I know that a lot of things happen while I'm sleeping. When I go to bed at night, I'm starting to really do some, affirmations prior to going to bed, prior to going to sleep, so that it implants in my subconscious the person that I know I am graduating into being, the identity that I'm wanting to shift into. I'm sure it also helps that I am like so close to being done with my manuscript. I'm concurrently participating in a book club, and the book that we're studying is The Existential Kink. And it is all about, the pleasure that you get out of the dark side of yourself. But I'm also ready to disrupt a lot of that energy and really step into a new role. And so instead of doing morning affirmations when I wake up, I am doing nighttime affirmations, reminding myself there's people who do love my work. There's people who want to hear about my work and who want to read my book, because I very much get in the headspace that nobody gives a shit. But I know that that's not true. But subconsciously, I have to disrupt the belief within my own, like the background story that I'm running with. So that being said, let's talk about the Gemini new moon. We also have the summer solstice coming up. And then towards the end of June, we kind of have like a halt urge kind of thing with the energy. So for those of you who are Mercury sensitive, meaning you may have like scatterbrain, you may be overly neurosensitive, like your sensory overload. You may have like communication malfunctions. You may be having issues with technology and communication, things like that. Mercury, as of June 12th, is in his pre-retrograde shadow, meaning that between June 12th and June 29th, things may come up, things may be presented to you in those areas, like sensory stuff, emotional processing of information, communication, technology, all of those things. Things may surface between June 12th and 29th. That will be reviewed between the 29th of June and I want to say July 20th, 19th, 20th. I might be wrong on my dates. And then that would be the Mercury retrograde, and then Mercury will station direct. So the rest of July will be about like reviewing and tying up the loose ends. So if you are somebody who's Mercury sensitive, like this one could be unique. This is a Mercury retrograde in Cancer. So like what you're nurturing, what you are nostalgic about, what you are nourishing. Perhaps it's emotions that you need to process about like your mom or your childhood, things like that, and how you express them or lack thereof, maybe shifting for you, which that could be a good thing because then we head into a full-blown upgrading transit. Like we have that huge upgrade transit in July. So let's take a look at the Gemini new moon chart. And because by the time we get to the Gemini new moon, June 14th, Mercury will be in his pre-retrograde shadow. And so let's get into that. Let me pull up the chart and we'll get to it. All righty. So new moon in Gemini on June 14th peaks at 9:53 p.m. Central Time. So adjust for your time zone. This is on Sunday. It's 24 degrees. Here, let's do this. Zoom that in a little bit for you. 24 degrees of Gemini. Really, for all intents and purposes, it's a quiet chart. Yes, there's a lot going on. Yes, there's stuff building. Yes, there's things happening, but nothing's really aspecting the new moon. There is a loose sextile building between the moon and the sun and Chiron in Aries that will kind of perfect over the next few days after this new moon. So it's almost like the new moon happens, there's not much going on, but like after the new moon happens, everything starts going on, right? We start to have Chiron move into Taurus on the 19th. We have Venus, if you look up here in Leo. This is kind of why I feel like we're going to be kind of offloading some belief patterns, some courage patterns. Let's see if I can get my drawing kit up here. We have Venus at 1 degree of Leo, opposite Pluto in Aquarius. Venus is ahead of Jupiter because I did mention that in July, the transit will be between Jupiter, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. But right now we have Venus ahead of that. And that we've got the trine. You can see the cradle kind of building here between all of these planets. I just feel like this Venus rules things like money and value and resources, relationships, love, all of those things. And so and notably, many Venus transits do have, things that lead to war and things like that, but that's more on the global scale. For your personal life, this is more about relationships, your courage to be in relationships, your courage to be yourself in relationships, your courage to like be honest and in integrity with yourself. This is Venus in Leo. And this is ahead of the South Node in Leo. This is ahead of Jupiter in Leo. And it's really kind of like how are and this being on that new moon in Gemini. Gemini is communication. Gemini is neighbors, neighborhoods, communities, communication, chit chat, conversations and things like that, written communication. And so there's this air of like peeking around at your life. This is also like Venus in a fire sign, Neptune in a fire sign. Neptune and Venus tend to speak the same language. And so like there's a little motivation energy here to make sure that you're resourced. And how do you get resourced? You know what you need to be supported. You know what resources you need, what money you need, what types of people do you need, and being courageous enough to say, I don't need your support because I need somebody with these skills. I need somebody with those like resources or supports or that ability. Your abilities, your resources, your skills do not work for me. They do not support me. And being able to say that, and being able to be honest about what you need to be supported. We're very much heading into a time and space where, Chiron's going to move into Taurus, which may not mean much to most people, but what that indicates is that we're going to have the need for practical problem solving. We're going to have the need for practical resources. We are going to have the need to connect with the earth. And so this transit happening just ahead of Chiron moving into Taurus is with this new moon, it's about being able to honestly, Uranus is also co-present in Gemini with this new moon. It's really, and Mercury in Cancer, there's a lot of this, like, what do I legit, really, realistically, honestly need to be supported, nurtured, nourished, taken care of? What do I legit need? Do I need transportation because I don't drive? Do I need somebody with working eyeballs who can read text? Do I need somebody who can help me go to the grocery store? Do I need a service that can go to the grocery store for me? Do I need somebody who can help with websites or help me learn, what resources and tools I could use with AI to support my business growth or my, whatever growth, right? So it's really this new moon is really an opportunity to start being honest with yourself about what you actually need to move forward in life, in whatever it is you want to be doing. It's also an opportunity to just be honest with yourself about the things that actually interest you. If you're not interested in entrepreneurial coaching, don't, or entrepreneurial resources, stop seeking that out. Be honest. What do you actually need? What do you actually want? And maybe you don't know what that is, and that's okay too. This might actually clear some space for you to discern that. So that's kind of the supportive. This is, like I said, this is June 14th. This is kind of building, and in a couple of days, Venus will be at that, 4-degree Leo opposite Pluto, sextiling Uranus, trining Neptune, all of those things. And in a matter of days here, we will have Chiron entering Taurus. And we'll have Mercury in his pre-retrograde shadow. So really tuning in and being honest with yourself. I love that this is now in fire because we've had for the last 12 years Venus trine Neptune in water and just sort of allowing come what may, versus this to me, Venus in Leo, Neptune in Aries is like, I'm fucking taking charge this time. I'm fucking taking charge of what I actually need. And I don't need blah, 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 but I really need this, that, and the other thing. And so you're really going to start feeling into what you value, what you need, what you're worthy of having, what you desire to have, what brings you pleasure to participate in, and all of that. And but also at the same time, like building a network of neighbors and community within your immediate, geographic location, so that you can have the resources and the support that you need. So, this new moon with Mercury in Cancer, yes, pre-retrograde shadows. So there may be like a month or two here where it takes some time for this to iron out. Keep in mind that moons have not only a 28-day cycle between each new moon, but each new moon also has a 6-month-ish cycle before the subsequent full moon. So when November or December, we'll have that full moon in Gemini that will really culminate what is initiated or started during this new moon in Gemini on June 14th. So keep that in mind. Anyway, so this Venus, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus transit is ahead of, or sort of like preparing you for, when Jupiter enters the picture in July. So that's that. Okay. And I want to briefly bring up the solstice. I'm not really going to do anything with this chart, just to say that the solstice is on June 21st, which is a Sunday. at 3:27 a.m. Central Time is when the sun exact enters 0 degrees Cancer. And so we're kind of going to be swimming in a little bit of Cancerian water here for Cancer season. And I also want to point out too that so the sun enters Cancer at 3:27 a.m. Central Time. So let's just say you live in it's the Central Time Zone, Chicago, Illinois, okay, or Wisconsin or Minnesota or wherever else is Central Time, St. Louis, Missouri. Let's just say a baby is born between 12 a.m. on the 21st and 3:26 a.m. on the 21st. That baby is still a Gemini. So the zodiac does not work on calendar days, it works on time. Now, that also means that if this is at 3:27 a.m., that would be 12:27 a.m. Pacific time, or is it 1? Let's see, Mountain Time. Oh, it would be 1:27. So, therefore, this is where things get really funky, right? Because if a baby is born at 2:27 a.m. Pacific time, or I guess I should do 2:27 220, whatever. Anyway, there's a way that this makes sense, and I'm not making it make much sense, but I think you understand what I mean if you do a little time zone math. The point is not every child born on the exact date of the sun changing signs is that new sign. Like I'm a 29-degree Aquarius. I was literally born hours before the sun moved into Pisces. So anyway, the 21st is when the sun enters Gemini. And by the time we get to the 28th, 29th, and 30th of June is when the brakes will get slammed and we'll kind of go into the Mercury retrograde, full moon, Jupiter in Leo. Like it's all going to start changing. So brace yourselves. The end of June is going to be interesting. And then we get into July where we have that big massive transit. So June may feel like it's being a little bit wobbly, and there's multiple reasons for that. One second. Lock. It's not wanting to lock anymore, and it's really annoying. Lock yourself. There we go. Okay. Sometimes it thinks I'm saying fuck yourself, and it has like a weird thing to say to me about that. So, oh Lord. Okay, let's get some tarot going. So the new moon, the 14th, it's really about just, are you courageous enough to say what needs to be said, to get what you need and be supported in a way that you need to be supported? Or are you just kind of allowing support even though it's not the right type of support, it's not the best support, but it's support? No, this is about getting real with the type of support that you need and being honest with yourself and the people around you that, you know what, actually, I can't, no, you're not what I need. I need something different and you don't qualify. So anywho, let's see what we got in the tarot for this new moon. Eek. The Empress in reverse. Eek. The Empress in reverse. I think that you got to get real about what does and does not empower you. Because it's like I said before, if you're getting support, but it's not the right kind of support, you're not getting where you actually desire to be getting because you're reaching at like, well, so and so told me I should get this type of support, caregiver, coach, therapist, blah, blah, blah. So I did it and it's not getting me where I want to get. It's because you're not getting honest with yourself and getting in integrity and in alignment with yourself about the type of support you actually need. Therefore, you're feeling more compromised, you're feeling more discombobulated, you're feeling more disconnected. But wait, I got the therapy, I got the coach, I got the caregiver, I got the PCA, the personal care assistant. I got the things that everybody told me I should get, but I still feel like shit and I still fucking hate my life and I still can't get what I need to get. I can't get the resources, the support, the tools that I need. It's because you're doing what everyone's telling you to do. Stop it. Stop it. Get the support that you actually need so that you can actually move forward in a positive way, because whatever you're doing is holding you back from getting what you want. Let's get one more to clarify. And it is what is this? Five of Cups. I think it's the five. Yeah, it's the five. The Five of Cups upright. Okay, hold on. Is he holding one? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the picture. Okay, those three are laying down. Okay, so he's looking at the three cups that are laying down and not looking at the two cups that are standing up. So you feel like the cup is empty because you're looking at cups that have been knocked over, right? You're not looking right next to you, right behind you, right? They're full. They're standing up. You're looking in the wrong direction. Yeah, it's the same fucking thing as the Empress in reverse. You're not getting what you need because you're not being honest about what you need. You're not getting the support that you need because you're not telling yourself the truth or telling other people the truth about what you actually need to be supported. And this Venus in Leo opposite Pluto in the next 10 days or so is really going to wake you up to that and make you have some honest, this new moon in Gemini is really going to make you have some heart-to-heart conversations with the people who you currently have supporting you that aren't offering you what you need. Right? It's like you should go coach shopping, you should go therapy shopping before you hire a coach or a therapist because they may not have what you need. If you are like in, recovery from addiction, you probably don't need a coach or therapist who is not in that realm, right? You need somebody who does that kind of work. If you're somebody who's super anxious, who doesn't have regular bowel movements, then you probably need to work with a person who supports that and is conscientious to ask you about your bowel movements. By the way, I am that coach. I will ask you about your bowel movements because it tells me a lot about what you're going through. So, anywho, you're not getting the support that you need because you are the one who's unwilling to express what you actually need. And the reason that the world looks shitty, the cup looks empty, all of these things you feel like is because you're not being honest with yourself about what you actually need. And let's look at the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle. We'll get a couple of these to get you through this new moon. and the solstice. We got the sword. Yeah, make the change. You need to cut some cords with some bullshit in your head that you don't deserve it and that you desire it. You take pleasure in getting the support that you need, and you're the one that needs to make the change. This Leo energy that starts with Venus and Leo, right now, this video is being posted on the 10th, right? 11th, 12th, 13th. Yeah. This video. So right now, Venus is in Leo. And this starts with Venus in Leo, ultimately Jupiter in Leo, and then the South Node in Leo with Leo eclipses. This is going to really push you to make changes to better yourself. You're going to have to let go of a lot of thoughts and beliefs about what you do and do not need and what is of service for you, ultimately. We also got the clover. Release your guilt. Yeah, don't feel guilty because you love it when the cards are just like, no, don't fucking bullshit anything. Don't feel guilty because you have to tell somebody that they're not what you want or need. You don't have to feel guilty about that because ultimately, this is your life you're trying to live, and you can't feel guilty about what you have to do for your betterment. And if that means that you have to cut somebody off, if that means that you have to slam some doors, if that means that you have to fire an employee or a support person, that is what you have to do. And you do not need to feel guilty about it. You're not in charge of them getting their paycheck. You're not in, yes, you are, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's up to them to honor the fact that you're closing the door in whatever capacity you're closing the door. It's up to them to honor the fact that that chapter of their life is closing and that they now get to move on to something that is in better support and service for their life to go the direction that it needs to go for them. Make sense? You do not get to feel guilty. This energy that we're moving into, this ain't Pisces no more. Yes, we still have the North Node in Pisces, but ultimately, for all intents and purposes, we're fucking done with Pisces. There's no more of this compassion. I mean, be nice and be all the things, but there's no more of this like, I feel guilty because I fired that person from my business because they weren't doing what I needed them to do. There's no more guilt about that. There's no more, because at the end of the day, we're each in charge. Neptune's now in Aries. Each of us is in charge of honoring the fact that something is over, relationship, job, blah, blah, blah. And honoring the fact that every time a door closes somewhere, God opens a window. And there's a window opening, there's a door opening for every person. You don't have to feel guilty about it. Okay? Oh, I love that. That was so fucking good. That was so fucking good. Okay. All right. I will be back probably for the Capricorn full moon. I'm weeks away from my manuscript deadline. So I'm kind of in crunch time. I also have a couple of events happening that I intend to be fully present for. So I'm trying to get as much done ahead of the end of June and so that I can have those events. So that means that I might be back, but I also might be more scatterbrained than I currently am. So there's all that. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Links below if you want a reading. That can happen. I do have time and space for readings. Links below for the 2025 to 2028 sun and rising signs. If you want to take a look at those, that'll walk you through everything that I've been talking about with this big transit in July. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. Talk to you guys soon. Take care. Love you.